and welcome again to Avitar Face to Face. I'm Jewel Kinch-Thomas, your host for today, and it is wonderful that you have joined us because we love to share information about what's happening in the arts and culture world, both in Westchester and beyond. And we hope that you will be inspired by what you hear and learn today, and that you will go out and support many of these artists, producers, actors, and the like who are in that creative world and bringing some really fantastic things to us. So today we want to welcome to the show an actress, an acting coach. She's a vocalist. She's done stand-up comedy. She has quite a lot on her plate. Her name is Marishka Phillips. Marishka, welcome to the show.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you're absolutely welcome. It's
Thank you.
wonderful to have you here.
Thank you
I
for
just
inviting me.
Sure, sure. I just mentioned a plethora of things that you are involved in and that you have made part of your journey. And I'd love to find out really how you got started. Because I must let folks know that your mom,
My mom,
Sandra
Reese
Reeves Phillips,
Phillips.
yeah, she was on this show a couple of weeks ago, and
Yeah.
she just took us all by storm. She
Yeah.
is an entertainer par non,
Yeah.
fabulous, fabulous actress and vocalist, and she entertained us here. So it was wonderful to have her, and now you.
Yeah, those are big footsteps to follow.
Indeed, indeed. But you are carving your path,
Thank you.
and you're stepping into those footsteps. How much was your mom's journey and her work? How much did that influence you into becoming involved in the arts?
It was everything
Ah,
influence.
okay.
Um, we have a joke that says I was in a womb full of influence
Ah,
because she was in the studio singing when she was pregnant with me.
okay.
And so I guess those vibrations just permeated my spirit,
Yeah,
and I came
yes.
out just feeling very creative, I
Okay.
believe. She tried to gear me to do other things, but I always came
Mm,
back to the
okay.
arts. I'd take like 4 dance classes a day, and and started taking vocal lessons. So
Right.
watching her being a backstage baby on tour with her, she took us out of school and hired a tutor,
Okay.
and she was on a musical tour of Raisin, a
Mm,
national tour of the
right.
musical Raisin rather,
Right.
and watching her from the wings and all of the other actors, I was always like, kind of just like a sponge, just taking it
Okay.
in.
Okay. That's wonderful because I mean, at that tender age, you would have been able to see some of the highlights, some of the fabulous moments, and then some of the challenges
Oh
too.
yes, oh
So,
yes.
were there any moments there where you thought, "Oh no, maybe not. That's not for me."
Watching my mom,
Yeah.
yeah, I saw her go through some disappointments and
Okay.
jumping some hurdles, but she was so steadfast
Mm.
in her journey, and I think we're a lot alike in that aspect.
Okay.
When we believe in the dream that God has planted in us,
Yes.
we focus on it. And even though there are things that come and knock us off track, we
Hmm.
always go back on track. And those dreams really influence my decisions.
Mm.
And I've watched her sit at a table for hours putting together her one woman shows and going
Right.
through records and stacks of books, and so that work ethic, watching that and then seeing the result,
Mm.
it just made me say I have to work hard. And
Right.
my work ethic, I always say I have to work 5 times more than everybody else.
Mm.
Not that I know what everyone else is doing, but I always thought I have to be like a pit bull, just
Okay.
get it until I get the
And go
meat.
with it. Yeah,
Just
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, that energy, that determination comes through. I mean, just in the few videos that I've watched of your work and how you interact with your students and with people, you can feel the intensity
Mm.
of what you bring to the process. So I can see that yes, the apple does not fall far from the
Oh
tree
my
in
gosh,
that
thank
sense,
you.
and the work ethic and the determination and the passion is evident. It's there.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you also, I mean, from the time you were what 13 years old, you were also in Raisin in a
Yeah,
European tour.
in the European tour,
Okay.
it started out just watching rehearsals, and then I would stay on the side, and I'd
Mm-hmm.
start doing the choreography and learning the choreography. And Al Perryman was the choreographer, and he was like, step
Okay.
for step,
Uh
matching
huh.
the adults.
Wow.
And we learned this show with the performing arts group from Howard University.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, this
Yeah.
little girl right here. So they ended up, since I was going anyway,
Right.
put me in the show. So I did my
Okay.
first professional European tour at 13.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. What a tender young age to start, but you were surrounded at that point by all of this
Greatness.
fabulous talent,
Yes.
and so therefore you could take, absorb that, as you said, and then just go with it, because
Yes.
from that point on it was nonstop for you. I mean, Broadway musicals, Uptown It's Hot, Bubble and Brown Sugar, Fame the
Fame the
musical, The
musical.
Wiz. I
Hmm.
mean, you just went from one to the next to the next. What were those years like in terms of the Broadway shows, and then you moved to stage after that? What were you? How were you growing? How was that experience informing you as you went through your teenage and early 20s?
Well, I always knew I had to work hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. I learned just by doing and watching, um, and the passion for it. You know,
Mm,
there was nothing else I wanted to do, so to
okay.
speak. All my eggs were in that basket.
Right.
And although one may drop, I always had to say, "Oh no, I have like 5 eggs left." You know, it was always high stakes for me.
Okay.
And so I wanted to learn as much as possible, watch as much as possible. Watching people like Maurice Hines and
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes Ellington and
Yes.
also Gregory Hines influenced me in saying, "Man, this is what it takes."
Okay,
You know.
absolutely. So you have been working with and have been mentored by an icon in the business. I mean,
Hmm.
Susan Batson.
Yes.
How did that relationship take form?
Well, I started studying there. My first class was in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it through a fellow actor. We were taking a workshop somewhere else, and we were admiring each other's work. And I was like, I'm looking for an ongoing class. I'm tired of 6 weeks here, 8 weeks there.
Right.
And she pointed me towards Susan Batson. And I took the first class, and it was jarring.
Mm.
Like, like the work that I did in those 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours, I was like, how did I book work before I knew what this
Oh,
was?
look at that. Okay.
And so I was studying, and then I asked, I ran out of money, and I was like, I still want to study. Can I work
Mm.
and study, work,
Right.
study? And she was
Okay.
like, yes.
Okay.
'Cause I guess she saw something, and she had said earlier on, she was like, I see myself in you.
Mm.
And that, I think that planted a seed in me where even if I couldn't take class, she'd let me sit way up in the back
Okay.
and
And
watch.
watch.
And
Okay.
I would just write. And everything she said, I was just writing and watching how she interacted. And that's how 2 years later, I said, I'd love to teach. And she was like,
Mm.
well, just keep showing up, kiddo. Those were
Okay.
her exact words. And I was like, well, it wasn't a no. And then 2 years after that, in '06, one teacher didn't show up, and
Mhm.
she gave me my first shot, and she watched from the back, and she says, you're going to be a great teacher.
Wow.
And 7 years later,
Yet to have that come from someone of Susan's stature
oh my
and
God.
experience, that's
Hmm.
tremendous, because we know
It was,
folks may not know, but she's worked with the best. I
oh
mean,
yeah.
the Tom Cruises and the Nicole
Nicole Kidman's.
Kidmans and
She just
Tyler
worked with
Perry
Oprah,
and
She
Oprah.
just
Yes,
coached Oprah for The Butler.
right. So
Amazing work.
fantastic. So was it that gave you the spark then to start your own a coaching business, your own coaching company?
Yeah, it is. I gave myself a 5-year plan,
Okay.
and 5 years. The 5 years were up, and I was still there, and I was like getting like, okay, Marishka, you said 5 years, you said 5 years,
Mm,
and then I had an opportunity to work with Tasha Smith,
yes.
and that
Tasha
was the
Smith, who's done Tyler Perry's films,
yes,
um,
and now for better for
and Better
worse.
for Worse on
And
OWN.
the
Yes.
first few episodes was what really did it for me. I was on set with her in Atlanta,
Hmm.
like the first 4 episodes. And when I walked in, she said, she's very spiritual and, very in tuned. When I walked in before we started working, she said, "You're going to have your own school." She
Hmm.
said, "I don't know when, I don't know how, but," she said, "I see it all over you."
Wow.
And I was like, okay.
Okay.
And
I'll
strangely
take
enough, like
that.
2
Yes.
months
Uh
later,
huh.
I decided I'm doing it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to take the
Mm.
leap of faith, or I'll stay here, which I love being under her wing, Miss Batson's wing, but I was
Right.
like, I just got to try.
Okay.
And Miss Batson said, "You always have a home, with me."
Yes.
And she says, she says, "You're going to do fine." And I was like, okay.
Okay.
So that was the beginning.
So that is that what you feel your calling is, to teach,
That's
to
where the
coach?
anointing lies.
Oh
I'm
my.
clear.
Okay. Fantastic. What is it that makes you feel that? What is it about you that gives you the wherewithal to bring the special things, the gifts out of these actors, these young people who are looking to make inroads into the business?
Um, I'm in love with the human spirit,
Mm.
and we all have the same basic needs. And once I can get the actor to relax
Mm-hmm.
and tell the truth,
Yes.
then I know that we can work together and go somewhere. We walk around with a public persona or, a cover.
Yes.
And so I even do an exercise before we start to work to shed those layers and to peel away the civilian that you walk around with to
Right.
stay guarded, which is rightly so.
Okay.
And once we get to that and we connect,
Mm.
that's what sets, I believe, the work that I do apart. I just let every actor has their own pace, and I
Mm-hmm.
respect that.
Okay.
And once we tap into those basic needs to be taken care of, to be heard,
Mm-hmm.
to be understood, to be loved,
Yes.
once we start telling the truth about that, then I know we can do something great together.
Wow. Okay. There's two things that jumped out at me when you responded to that question: telling the truth and the spiritual nature of the work. I want you to just expand a little bit more on that for me. I mean, because it seems that there is for you very much a spiritual foundation in what you do.
I
Talk a
pray
little
all the
bit
time.
about that for me, because you also have on your site a a blog. It's a video blog about inspirational
Oh, yes,
talks.
yes.
So, talk a little bit about how your spirituality informs your work.
Uh, I believe that the characters that are chosen for us find us.
Mm.
We just have to show up and be available for it.
Okay.
And I also feel that there's a healing to take place, not only for the actor, but the recipient of the story.
Mm.
And everything, even though, you honor the writer's words, I feel that there's a deeper meaning underneath what is being said. And there's a healing, uh, all of these life changing events, or maybe even life events that we have gone through as human spirits, it's not in vain if
Mm.
we allow it and give ourselves permissions to reveal that through the character. Then it's an experience.
Okay.
And you're telling a story, and we're experiencing something, and we're healing through the work, and we're so available and generous with our journey and healing that who's ever taking in that story can also be healed.
Mm.
B. Richards once said, us as actors have the opportunity to touch the consciousness of our story,
Mm.
of our story recipients. And
Right.
that's how I like to approach it.
Okay.
It's not just about the words, it's about what are we doing? What do you want to say to the world
Mm.
through this character? Uh, what's your intention?
Right.
You know,
Okay.
so it goes deeper for me.
That's powerful. That's powerful. I don't know that I've ever heard it explained quite that way before. And if you look at it like that, then each theatrical play, each production, each time you go and you sit in a theater seat, you're opening yourself up to, you know, a new experience.
Hopefully, yes.
New perspectives, emotions. That's really wonderful.
Even things that you've hidden away,
Mm.
compartmentalized,
Yes.
just so we are okay.
Right.
Um, and there's a lot of that going around. I think that's why theater and live theater and film and television is such a powerful tool because there's an escape into these characters
Mm.
that we sit there and we trust. There's a trust that should be there
Yes.
for us to, as theater goers, to take the journey into these characters' lives. And what do you find there? It should be something really beautiful, something magical too, and
Yes.
something really visceral that you can connect to and hopefully walk away with something in your spirit that you can take and perhaps apply to something that you're going through.
Okay.
Something like that.
Do you find that the majority of your students are receptive to this process, this getting at the truth, this sort of organic, or is there a lot of resistance to that?
The students, my core students, and the students that come back, like I want my students to go and book. I said, I want you
Yeah.
to be so unusual out there that they have to ask, where
Mm.
do you study? And they get
Right.
that a lot.
Okay.
Then they're like, who? Marishka Phillips, check her
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
Um, I got sidetracked, but the resistance I'm aware of right away, and by the end of the class, I pretty much know who's gonna come back
Mm.
and who's like,
Oh no, this
where's
is
the
not.
door?
I can't do this.
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
a lot. It's
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah, good. Because that I can imagine. There's some folks who walk into an acting class and just think, okay, I just need to put on this character and I'll be good and just make that happen. But you're talking about something that is many, many, many levels.
Many layers, many
Yes.
many layers.
You know what? We have a clip of a promo for your acting workshop. I want to show that right now, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Okay, you
snippet.
see what I'm talking about. The intensity is almost palpable right there
That's awesome.
with
Thank
how
you.
you're interacting and just what I feel is coming out of you and your students. One of your students used the word raw in describing what it
Oh,
felt like to go through the class. Is that something that most would say?
well, raw is because I ask that you strip down.
Okay.
Like I said, that circle that you saw,
Yes.
that's the first exercise where I call each actor into the center one at a time,
Mm-hmm.
and that is their opportunity to really shed, to get rid of that civilian crap. I say lay it out, lay it
Okay.
on the altar,
Okay. Yes.
so we can get to the work. You
Uh,
know, you can't absorb if you're in the, you know, daily grind mode.
right,
So
right.
that is, yeah, I asked them to get raw,
Mm-hmm.
unfiltered, and honest.
Okay.
Hmm.
Wow. What an experience. You know, you have this I see is your passion, but you've touched on and inserted yourself into some other areas that it seemed as if you wanted to just see how far you could go with it, or um, grab something that you thought was you had some fear about and just take it by the horns and say, okay, I'm going to do this. Like stand up
Oh,
comedy, for example.
yeah, that's like jumping out of an
So
airplane.
yeah, I was like, wow, she went from being actress and having all of the credits that you had as far as that was concerned on stage, on film, and then all of a sudden you decided, okay, I'm gonna do some stand up comedy. What brought that into the mix?
Well, when I was living in LA, I wanted to do it, and I'd go to open mic nights and punk out.
Uh
And then when I was studying with Miss Batson, there's a class called DYOM, Developing Your Own Method.
okay.
And at a certain point, she assigned you a character. And she assigned me Whoopi Goldberg. And I thought, well, I need to know what that is. You know,
Okay.
she gets up there alone
Ah,
and she tells stories. She drops into different characters.
right.
And if I want I want to know what that is. So now is the time. I've been wanting to do it. Now there's a real like emphasis for me to do it
Okay.
because of Whoopi Goldberg.
Because what? Okay.
Yeah, so
All right.
that's why I decided to just go on and do it. I did it for 4 years.
4 years.
I did it for 4 years
Wow.
around the
Okay.
city.
Okay.
And it stretched me. It got me out of my comfort zone.
Mm.
And, you know, I suggested to actors, try it. And they're like,
Really?
yeah.
So were you writing your own material?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And what was that experience like for you? I mean,
Well, I mainly spoke about my family
okay.
because that's what I know. And relationships, different relationships I've been
Okay.
in. So those were the two main areas of what I focused on. And I would just put a little spin on the end of it,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
talking about how me and my mom interact because she treats me like a baby still, and you know, just so many different things.
Okay.
And so that's what made it fun. And my family and you know, people really enjoyed it.
Okay. Fantastic. So the acting school is your passion right now. I know you've done a little bit of directing also.
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you have coming up that we should let folks know about?
Okay, so there are two projects
Mm-hmm.
that are happening right now. I've ventured into casting director.
Uh-huh.
I'm working on my second real kind of casting director gig.
Mm-hmm.
The first was The Sound of Music, which is a coming of age musical
Okay.
that they're filming in LA now. And right now I'm casting Christmas Wedding Baby, written
Okay.
and directed by Kiara C. Jones.
Uh-huh.
And we were just in Jacksonville. It's going to be filmed in Jacksonville, so we did some local casting first. And next week we're doing New York casting, and that's to be filmed in January.
Mm.
And so this is an exciting journey to find talent, and even some of the people that I've worked with already, I'd like to bring in on it.
I was just going to say, you have a school, you're working with all of these, potentials and up and comings, and you're able to funnel some of that into your casting area, which is a really fabulous exchange there.
I love it because if you're ready and you've been putting in the work, I
Mm-hmm.
want this director to see you.
Okay.
I want you to put the work on its
Okay.
feet, you know.
It seems as if you're always challenging yourself.
I
As if
am. I rarely
you,
sleep. No.
you you can go into an area and do the work and make it really fabulous, but then it seems like there's always the next thing that you're looking to make happen. And I mean, to do the comedy, a lot of people would not even consider that. I'm an actress. I know I do this well. I can get the parts, and they will stick with that and just take it to as high as they can. But you, the acting, the coaching, the film,
Yeah.
the casting director now, is that something just is that your character that you always want to
Well,
get to the next
I
thing?
always want better.
Okay.
That's what I want. I want better. Um, I want to, I guess, for lack of better words, leave my mark
Okay.
in the world. Like
Oh,
I was here, and I did it,
okay.
you
I
know.
don't think there'll be any question there. Give folks, please, a website where they can find out more information about your acting school and or any other services that you can provide for them. Go ahead.
My website is www.marishkasphillips.com, and my business phone number is 516-300-3260. And all the information will be on my website. The curriculum I put up for each month of classes,
Hmm.
and I do private coaching sessions. I do on on-set coaching. I was just at Alder Manor.
Okay.
I'm doing that's going to be opening off Broadway about Rita Hayworth.
Oh,
So film and theater
yes.
combined in this production
Wow.
on Theater Row at the Lion Theater, opening the day after Thanksgiving.
Wow. Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Marishka. It has been a real pleasure to have you here.
thank you.
And we look forward to seeing what else is coming up and what the next thing is you're going to be challenging yourself with.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to something really cool for next year. So,
Okay,
yeah.
fabulous. Check out Marishka Phillips at her website. And we hope that you enjoyed today's show. And we'll look forward to seeing you again next time on Avatar Face to Face. Thank you.